My name is Bayo, B-A-Y-O. I'm one of the co-founders at TipUp. And first, I want to say thank you to NewWave for giving us this opportunity to support this effort of innovation, exploring different ideas when it comes to virtual reality and augmented reality. How many of us are familiar with augmented reality and VR? Awesome. It's going to be exciting. But to kick things off, a few things. You guys all know where the bathroom is. You know where the food is. You know what you're here for. Okay, well, we're gonna help you out, brother. But hope you guys are excited. I've done many hackathons. How many of you guys have been in a hackathon before? Show hands. Just one. So none of you guys have had an hackathon before. Perfect. Get ready for 24 hours of excitement, boredom, like question, like innovation, collaboration, every single thing in 24 hours. It's really, really exciting. The hope of a hackathon is to not necessarily solve all problems, but it's often to just create a foundation that we can build on to bring different ideas together, different backgrounds together to see how your ideas can be enhanced by contribution from his idea or her idea. That's the whole idea of why we do this hackathon. And today I have Mr. Greg from NewWave. He's the CTO of NewWave here, Chief Technology Officer. And he's going to welcome us and kind of give us a little background on NewWave and also give a context as to what we should expect from this event, and it's also help us set a tone that we can build on. Again, think about it, it's like a ladder, right? Every step is a ladder, and we hope that you guys get together, myself, Mr. Greg, the NewWave team, TipUp team, and most importantly, yourself, we can build something that is great out of this 24 hours. And I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be awesome. And as you can see, we don't have a lot of people here right now, but people will start trickling in. So again, be open-minded, be inclusive in your thinking, because when people come in, we want to make sure that we also include them in the existing process. So just keep that in mind as we progress in this. Is that cool? Mr. Greg, come on in.
Welcome once again. As Maya said, I'm the Chief Technology Officer for NewWave. So that leaves me responsible for innovation within the company. And that can take a number of forms, but one of the things that we've been seeing a lot of late, as you can tell, is virtual reality and augmented reality. My CEO and I spent, I think, 5 days at CES a few weeks back. And the reason we went there was to find out what was up and coming in terms of technology that we didn't know about, or at least that we hadn't considered that we could apply within our work at NewWave. Now, NewWave has been around for about 14 years. They've been doing innovation in the healthcare space, primarily with federal clients, but not just government. We like to look outside of that as well. So the goal is to be able to bring new technology into healthcare. Hence the goal of this. If we're talking about modern technologies, one of the major ones is augmented reality. I assume you've seen all the demos with HoloLens out on YouTube and stuff like that. Right? You may have used some of the other virtual reality devices, whether it's an HTC Vive or any of these sorts of things. I actually spent 2 of the days at CES talking to the manufacturers of virtual reality equipment, trying to find out anybody that had equipment that was going to be of a level that would be better than the HoloLens. Because let's face it, HoloLens is generation 1, there's bad new technology coming on, that we're getting small, that we're getting more powerful. Nobody was anywhere near the Microsoft device. And every manufacturer that I talked to, when I went there and said, look, I'm looking to see what technology we have, because we're currently doing some work with AR. As soon as I mentioned the HoloLens device, their faces dropped. It was just like, oh, well, Microsoft threw a bunch of money at that, and that's why we can't compete. So anyway, the good thing is we know that we've got the top platform on the market. The augmented reality really makes a big difference. Do you know the difference between virtual and augmented? Yeah. So as I said, the idea of being able to annotate the real world with new information means that there's plenty of scope for new concepts, new ideas in healthcare, whether it's between a patient and a physician interaction, whether it's during surgery, whether it's ordering drugs, we don't know. Conceptually, I don't know yet. That's one of the reasons we're inviting you here, is to think outside the box and say, all I have is a pair of glasses, but what would that mean to people that actually want to consume healthcare services, or a part of the service delivery block. So I'm really looking forward to this event because I want to see what minds can come up with. It's really out of the box. It's really interesting. And let's face it, some of these things we might even be able to eventually take to market. Nothing is quick. You're not going to put together a groundbreaking application in the space of 24 hours. But you can come up with something that's really interesting, and maybe it can be commercialized. Maybe this can go all across the internet. We don't know yet. So I wish you good luck. I really want to help you out here. I want to see you produce your best stuff. Enjoy.
Yeah, so that was a short and brief, which is great. So we guys know that we have the whole day here, right? And ideally, so looking at my current schedule, we all have a schedule here, right? So looking at my current schedule right now, our icebreaker is supposed to be starting like 5 minutes ago. We're still kind of ahead of schedule, which is really, really good. So what I want to kind of do is take this next few minutes to kind of get to know each one of us a little bit, and just introduce yourself, what you do, where you're from, why you're here, something interesting about yourself. And then I'm going to break us, and we are going to like get together, do a little icebreaker. You're going to get to know each other a little bit more. And then you're going to now, whatever you learn from, and you're going to try to remember something interesting about everybody that you met in here. So you can't say whatever they've said in public. So that's the idea of that. And this is our first step into collaboration and retentive memory to kind of get us started. So my name is Adebayo Daudu. My name is Adebayo Mobolaji Yusuf Jonathan Daudu. I'm originally from Nigeria. I grew up in Washington, D.C. and Maryland. Currently in New York, I'm a software engineer and management consultant for Accenture. Also co-founder at TipHub with this guy right here. I'm not going to tell you his name, but he's going to tell himself. I've been in the technology space for about 15 years. The CEO of this company is actually my mentor and the first person to introduce me to development in a professional way. So I've gone from being a 14-year-old in this class to being a mentee, to being a partner with him in different ventures, and I also collaborate together and stuff like this, and it's only going to get better in the future. So I'm here because we're here because we had a conversation, and we wanted to expand upon innovation and NewWave, and also challenge ourselves as an organization with TipHub to push ourselves to contribute value to different corporations that we have contact with. So that's why I'm here. And I'm hoping that I can support you in different ways. My background is in design, so any kind of design questions is great. Technology is just a byproduct of my design background, and so I can also support in that capacity as well. That's my background.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Chinedu Onekwe. I am a co-founder of TikTok, and I'm here to support innovation with NewWave. I think one of the most interesting things about NewWave is something that I've seen, the limited time that I've seen it, right? I was first introduced in 2014 by Bio, and I came and I was impressed by the company, and then now it's actually 2 years, 3 years later, right? And they grew, I don't know, double, triple, some multiple, right? They're growing and they're contributing to our growth, and I'm both happy that we've been able to do small parts of theirs. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here to help their innovation, but mainly I'm very interested to see what everybody's ideas can bring to the forefront. In VR and AR, I'm just excited about that technology space. My background is in engineering, so I've done coding since I was 12, like C++ and all this kind of thing. Now
Yes. Start from the.
name is Karen Hill.
So your name, where you from, you know, something interesting about you, why you're here.
I'm originally from Stafford, Virginia. Went to school in Hampton, Virginia, at Hampton University. And currently a software engineer, doing some other stuff. Something interesting. My first exposure to technology was saving up half the money to buy a PlayStation 1. Back when I was elementary school. Yeah, I don't know.
Morning, my name is Priya Young. Originally from Southern California. Here to the East Coast to study at the University. First, primarily supporting the that I know. So I just switched jobs like last month. Getting into more startup. I think that's
Hi, my name is Michael Henderson. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm a college student. Currently at college where I study design. Really interested in programming. This is brought up by a wife student in high school. Early classes, during right high classes. And sees my concerns, he helped me out with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, and a little bit C++. Something interesting about it. We don't decide, but also wanted to do a lot of engineering, and I was to do a lot of stuff for 4 years. And there's a English conversation, competitions, almost like. Oh, also, I'm hoping I can get some chick here.
Hi, everyone. My name is James Stevens. Also employee at the Center for Federal Services, and it's a really controversial thing. Anyway, that's my day job, cybersecurity and such, and my job is natural user interface, so not necessarily AR, VR, but it has applications in it for you guys to go in the natural user interface. So we're here to see what we can do.
So excited you can get.
So, just working with 60 years since I've been in the IT industry. Worked on bits and pieces of VR, natural user interface throughout my career. My first exposure to it was back in 2002 when I was working on Caves, autonomous virtual environments for the National Science Foundation. And then I did the same thing, sort of, well, more on the natural user interface side of things, 3M, using services. And so those are my exposures to it. The lifelong inventors I decided that AR, VR, and UI space and that sort of perception with which we wish to enable other people to build on. So I started that and doing that for this week to work in concert. So we're doing this second.
Also, in Central.
Yeah. You work for Accenture as well, federal and
Yes.
yeah, that's It's too much paperwork.
But shooting from the as the chief safety responsibility officer here, and really excited to have you guys here to our first for the problem and folks here in the community for one initiative, you know, to really have an impact. So just excited that you guys let's do.
Hi, my name's Abdu. I was almost an essential employee. Took another opportunity. I also do cybersecurity, and below and below. So I saw it and I thought, okay, I don't know if you guys have all this training material in your folders. It's been taking me 5 years to learn all this stuff. I want to jack in something to my head and let the virtual reality just freaking put it in there, and I'm good. From New York, I worked in Beltsville. I like pizza, that's my.
Hey, me too. Awesome.
Hello everyone. I'm outside the house. I'm an employee here at NewWave's. Unix slash Windows Cloud. Really new and almost a year now. Very interesting stuff. I've got this bunch of classes, trainings, demonstration, things like which is quite interesting. I speak from my student and this is my first experience. I hope I got something new. That's it.
Gavin?
Mueller, and I'm so honored for you guys to come because I have worked for 4 years. Dance practice, practice, education, operation, position offices, and many different settings, hospitals, and home care. Excuse me. So I'm here to help for navigation here, questions you might have. I'm always going to challenge you to reflect on your experiences with the healthcare setting and try to put some realism and compassion and go back and forth with right all the time. Both that seriously and security, right? Pretty good discussion. So that's part of my time here. And the last, I guess, 20 years, I've been very involved in healthcare. I've been some language, I'm about 4 hours older, but very often.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and I work at NewWave's in the CSR department with Teresa as well. And I'm excited to learn about Hackathon. This is my first one, so I'm excited to help out and see, learn about it a little bit and just to be involved. So excited to be here too.
Cool. So I feel like I get X and balance after all this. I've been in the IT industry for more years than I can get today. Very long time. You guys, what you guys done Unix. So back before that to Unix, I was involved in the first version of Unix that came out. Oh,
You're older than we thought.
So technology background, I've been asked about it, gone from just plain development, project management, all that sort of stuff. A lot of very formal stuff like enterprise architecture, and stuff like that. But more importantly, for the last 4 years prior to here, I was the shared service leader at Deloitte. That was my balance.
Those guys.
Not that I have any business.
We're just number one, you know. We're just number one. That's what it is.
We can argue that one because PwC and Deloitte constantly arguing about that.
In the technology space, we're number one.
Finance, technology,
yeah. Technology, we are definitely number one. For the 4th or 5th year in a row. Counting.
Nothing like healthy competition.
So that was all I wanted.
Oh, cool. So, again, this is the whole idea. So one thing you probably noticed is that he told us something interesting about himself. He likes pizza, and then you share the same interest. You see how this thing works. So now, what I want us to do is to kind of get in a circle, right? And you have to say something interesting about yourself to the group, right? And then we're going to present that. So the idea is that you have to remember something interesting about everybody in the group, and the person that can remember something interesting about everybody else in the group is the team for the next hour. Is that cool? So you're going to get up and get in a circle, and you're going to say one or two interesting things about yourself. And the idea is for you to remember everybody else's interesting things.
Okay, we say it aloud.
Yeah, we say it aloud. Within the circle. Get together in a circle. Oh, just one big circle.
One more man is.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
with all the spikes on the head, right? Is that a different?
The lawnmower man is when you went into the virtual.
Oh, yeah.
The lawnmower man would come. I don't think anybody.
So just to give you guys an idea why this is, I get us flexible and relaxed. You know, that's the whole idea. You know, and the more, the better. The more you know about your team member, the more you can work together effectively. That's what I've learned, and I think it works. So who's going to start?
So I'm saying something interesting about myself. So my first engineering competition was a healthcare and technology competition. High school.
I like to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. My day started at the gym for a few hours and get to bed between 5 and 7.
5 and 7.
In the evening, after work. I go to sleep. No, yeah, I only stay up about 5 hours a day. In my virtual
I like to try and read at least 5 to 7 books every day. That's interesting. On the first competition, college space, I guess, in seventh grade, I did something that was kind of like a Ruba. Typically, magnets, but so it's a flat instead. So I was suspended in house. So go down to college. Very expensive.
You said 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah, it was
And the 6th grade or 7th grade.
I don't remember exactly. I think it was 6th grade.
Okay, I don't know, we need to know. So we'll go 6th grade for that. So 6th grade we will outward and slide.
Well, that was yeah, that was 19. 91.
I'm very, in case you haven't figured, I'm very competitive. So I want to make sure I know every single thing about everybody. So if I win, I still win the team. So sometimes that's easy. I want you. You need to Google 3 times? OMG. I've been coached by Google 3 times. I've never taken it off.
Currently programming my own website from the ground up. It's HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Thank you. I would go the opposite to you. I am often still awake working at 3:30 in the morning. So
It's somehow weird. These shift links.
no, I have had worked with people before where we literally covered 24 hours. I had a project manager that liked to get up really early, and I go to bed really late, and if there was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we couldn't cover the project. It's gone away. I don't know how to make it work,
So, yeah, I don't know. Because how does it work? Do we get a pen and paper to show how much you remember? Because if I have to start saying it,
Yeah, that's
then
right.
yeah.
All right, now,
selling too much.
He's gonna go first so that he can spout everybody and then nobody else can win.
So I mean, like, maybe we should write it down.
Yeah, I think that's the only way.
See, I have good memory.
But you haven't said what your.
Oh, but I sort of missed this too, though. That is so unfair, though, right? I mean, that's so. You're supposed to work it as a team. All right.
You were the one who left the building.
All right, that's cool. That's fair. That's fair.
So we need to get pen and paper.
Let me get you guys posted.
Wait, so Aaron, you have to share back.
Let me get it posted.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
You're disqualified.
What's his interesting fact? He doesn't have any to share.
And just saying, I'm not participating.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should have plenty of it around.
All right, there you go. Okay, take one of these out around. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, I was wondering where it was.
So while you guys write, I need to just give you guys time little update. So we're gonna have Mr. Damon get on the video conference call with us right now in the other space over there, and he's gonna kind of introduce himself, give us a background about his experience with VR, and also kind of give us also foundation about how we can build this hackathon. So give me like about 5 minutes, we'll set that up over there. Then I'll have everybody on that side. That's cool.
Informally ask, how many of you guys have actually used the Hololens? Use what? The Hololens.
It's a Microsoft it's like Augmented TV. I haven't used it, but I in high school, me and one of my friends named Bruce, he showed me how online.
Hey, Mr. Damon, sorry about that. I'm getting ready to shoot you. Do you have Google Hangout by any chance? Awesome. So I'm sending you an invitation to join the live streaming that we're having. Let's Oh, perfect. So if you can join that, and then I can have, oh, look at you, you're there. Welcome. All right. Can you hear what's happening in the room?
Not what's happening in the room, but it doesn't look like anyone's really talking or doing anything.
I'm gonna go there. I just want to make sure I can hear you.
Oh, actually, I can hear you. I can hear you.
You can hear me from the room?
Yeah, sounds like it.
I'm going to the room right now.
No.
Hello?
No, it sounds like the echo. I can't hear them talking, but I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. All right. right, let's make sure we give you, make sure you can
Now-
be able to speak.
Yeah, because I see the guy moving his mouth, but I don't, talking about the HoloLens,
You don't
but I
hear
don't hear anything.
Let me try to get this. Try to get this. See. I can't hear him on that side. You can see me here, right? You can see me here, right?
I see you, yes. Going pretty good. Let me I can hear you in that room. If you want to, we can hang up and yeah, because I can hear you shutting the blinds.
Can you hear me here?
I can. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. So, like, I don't know why we can't hear them on the other room. Let me go find out why.
Sure.
I figured out the issue. It's because I am streaming from the same account. So it's only picking up audio. So I'm going to invite somebody else.
Sure.
Oh, thank you, man. Just to give you context, right now we have they're actually demoing the device right now, the halogen lens, and we have a very small group today for some reason, but nonetheless we're moving forward. That's what we do. All right. So I'm going to make it so you can be able to hear them in your room, and then we're going to transition in this room. Is that okay? Awesome. A little bit. Can you hear? Mr. Brett, Damon, can you hear anything?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can
Mr. Damon, can you hear anything?
Yeah. And if you sit it a little bit above your eyebrows, typically is the right place.
Okay, sure.
You see the hologram down there? And you can move it. Oh, well, right. Okay, I can see. That's why I said you gotta adjust the shot again.
Oh, yeah.
That as long as it's yeah, and then just tap.
Most fingers.
It's about your gaze, with something that follows your gaze. So that's the way that you decide the item that you're looking at. Use the selection.
Oh, this is fantastic.
All right. So like, we have Mr. Damon on the call. So let's try to transition to that room on the side so we can be able to hear him virtually, and then he can hear us as well. So we're just going to transition to that entertainment area, and he's going to talk to us for like about 10 minutes. Mr. Damon, that's cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I can hear you. Everything is working out. Okay.
Whoa.
All right. While everybody, we're all making our way here.
Great. I see the floor and a desk. Now an iPhone, or it looks like an iPhone. Now I can see the other way. Yeah.
Can you see us?
I can.
All right, just want to make sure you can see us, right?
I can.
Oh, awesome. And you can hear us too. Yes. Okay. So, you guys ready? I have a pleasure. All right, there you go. So I'm going to switch to your screen today. All right. So I have the pleasure of introducing you to a master or a genius in the space of VR. A couple weeks ago, I reached out to somebody within Accenture, and they connected with Mr. Damon. I did research on it, and he's spent many effort in the VR and hackathon space over several years. So I'll let him do us the honor of introducing himself, and then also kind of helping us set a tone for what today should be like an investment to approach this kind of hackathon. And as you work, you kind of like how to beat expectation ultimately. Is it good?
He did that on purpose sometimes.
Oh, okay, are you there?
I saw his finger do this.
I am here.
Oh, okay, so you're trying to see our screen. Oh, sorry.
Well, I mirrored. So, I take it.
That's fine. Let me.
You can't see me. Okay.
It's
Well,
fine. You have to do that.
hold on one moment there. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Forgive me. Not that I'm normally presentable, but it's 8 o'clock my time here on a Saturday. So forgive me for not being too bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Based out of San Francisco, California. So bear with me this morning pre-coffee. Yeah, a little introduction about myself, but I always find it best to let the technology speak for itself. So that's why I am going to shoot back to a screen share here. And I take it everyone sees my screen now. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is just pretty much, I'm just going to run through a series of web tabs because that's always easiest. A little bit about me. I am a native Texan, so you might get a sir, ma'am, or y'all out of me throughout the course of this little presentation. I work in the field of interactive 3D. So what you're actually looking at here as I zoom back in and out is this is a three-dimensional site. Basic, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then this actual 3D environment, as you see, I can click and move it and things like that. This is actually a web-based experience. So this is all using ISO standards for 3D data exchange. So a lot of my career has actually been focused around looking at how do we make interactive 3D environments for real-world applications. This includes medical space, the building industry, and a variety of other verticals. And how do we do that using existing standards for 3D data? So I'd like to say that, I focus on virtual reality or augmented reality applications, but that's not necessarily the case. What I look at is how do you make an interactive 3D application that may have a VR feature or an AR feature, or as most people will interact with data just in the web browser. So I have been involved in the technologies that I work with for roughly about going on 17 years now. In my day job, I work at Samsung Research Lab in Mountain View, where essentially I work on the internet browser and web VR team. So just a real quick show of hands, how many people know what web VR is? Okay, awesome. So for everyone else who does not know what web VR is, but is interested, I recommend you check out, this is a little site, it's called Create Web VR. Essentially what web VR is a JavaScript API that's supported by certain browsers, where if you go to a website and someone has built an experience using one of these frameworks here, and there are others, then essentially you can have a virtual reality environment delivered by www. Instead of a downloadable executable file. Just by a real quick show of hands, how many people that I can see are currently doing VR development or AR? Okay, cool. I couldn't see everybody. It looks like one person over there. And then if you can unmute, just so I may ask, what's your tool of choice when it comes to development?
Tool of choice. So the tool of choice is Unity for the game as game engine, and then Visual Studio.
Okay.
But then frameworks.
So 3JS.
Okay, perfect. So it sounds like, yeah, definitely someone who's familiar with interactive 3D technology. So, the fun thing about web VR is it's kind of the platform of where everybody's going. I'm sure people have heard that, Facebook is working on React VR. Google has their Daydream. and A-Frame is an initiative by Mozilla. So this is just kind of, you know, the focus for me right now in one part of the day job is looking at, you know, how do we continue to work on the specification that allows for WebVR to become really the delivery platform, right? Because we all know the barriers to entry when you ask somebody to essentially download an executable and things like that. So just to finish up on this, so what it is again, it's the ability for virtual reality experiences to run in the browser, because the browsers essentially support the different headsets. So if anyone is interested in playing around with some WebVR, this is a great place to get started. It has a lot of links to a lot of different resources. Now, a little bit about the technologies. So Web3D standards are nothing new. These have been around. This right here is a three-dimensional scene. It's actually an anchor. That's why this changes over. As you see, these things back here that will scroll in the background have different examples of where interactive 3D data has been used. Everything from maybe just showing a spinning globe all the way to communicating to 3D printers. So there's a lot of really exciting things that are going on with 3D graphics when it comes to the web. Now, here's another resource for any that want to look at, you know, how can you kind of work with existing medical standards. One of the things about Unity, it is a great tool, but, you know, it's made for making games. There's a lot of technologies out there that can help when one wants to get to applications that use more type of medical data. Now, I, being a fan of the real world industries and things like that, about a few years ago started a hackathon. Now, this one's a little different than what y'all are here for today, but this is for the building industry. So, you know, thinking, hey, aren't hackathons great, as a developer myself, and decided to have one for the building industry. And that one kind of blew up. I wasn't expecting that to turn out to what it kind of did. First two events were at Facebook here in Silicon Valley. And then, as you can see, very quickly, a community began to grow all around the world of places that had these hackathons. And so I've kind of become a guru of hackathons strictly by a beautiful accident. And then also that led me to helping a group here in California start virtual reality focused and augmented reality focused hackathons. And we therefore spread to places like Seattle and a variety of other countries around the world where these are popping up again, all community initiated. So yeah, so just some really great communities out there, you know, around doing fun stuff. When it comes to medical, I think the easiest way to find me is probably with this one here. So several years back, again, looking at that idea of, you know, how do we make medical applications? This was, you know, here, that's me, a little bit younger, a lot younger. And what this was an interactive augmented reality application that actually was a part of an interactive 3D application that ran in the browser. And so what this was a basic pre-med application. And what you could do is essentially, you don't see it, but on my wrist, right behind where these different bones are, I had a fiducial marker. So this was using the instant reality toolkit. So when the camera essentially sees that marker on my arm, it overlays this image, and then I can click on these different objects to essentially highlight basic Wikipedia information. Now, you'll have to forgive, I'm not an experienced designer, so I know that looks super ugly. And I think we worked on this, yeah, back in 2010. So a little while ago, that popped up in different places. But I think the main thing here that was to be shared is just really this weekend is about having fun, right? It's about having fun, learning something new. I think what makes for a good hackathon is when we really try to challenge what we know and push ourselves. That's the value I've always found out of hackathons, is being able to look at a problem and contribute my skills to a team, but then also push myself a little bit. So I definitely encourage everyone this weekend to, kind of step out of your box a little bit. And then also the other thing I recommend is, since you are focused on a specific vertical for these technologies, augmented reality and virtual reality are just another way of visualizing data, right? I think they themselves are just tools. And what happens there is that you need someone from those industries to share with you the types of things you need to build with those tools. Are there any doctors or people from the medical profession in the house?
Yes, we have one.
Okay, so I hope that is a very busy person back there in the back that is sharing with everyone. Find that person, right? I think as technologists, we are guilty of building what we think will be cool applications. But what I'd really like to see is when we're building applications that solve real world problems, right? And it's not just technology for technology's sake. So I definitely, don't want to discourage anyone from having fun this weekend, but I also would love to see some applications where, someone from the field is saying, hey, you can help me do this, X, and make that better on Monday, right? You're helping save lives or helping save money or something like that on Tuesday. So I hope that, everyone has the opportunity to go back after you've kind of had your ideation session, and then go vet, with someone that's going to be in the field. Just ask, hey, will this help you out? Because I'd love to build a solution that's actually going to improve the way that things are done. So in that, I'll keep it brief because I know people don't want to listen to me. They want to get to hacking. But I'll open it up for any quick questions or answers if there's any time for that.
Any questions? Curiosity? You have a question, Mike.
All right.
So, in terms of like Larry, today we're focused on Hololens. What are the previous challenges you might have had with the Halogen lens development, and how did you overcome some of those obstacles, especially getting Unity and integrating Unity with that device? Anything you've heard, anything you've worked with within Unity and Halogen lens that you can probably share with the team to kind of get them through the hurdle?
So forgive me because part of that broke up. So if I understood the question, it was going, how do you work with Unity and HoloLens?
Yes.
Okay. Well, of course, the environment for building with HoloLens is pretty rigid. It's very defined. I'll be honest, I haven't done any HoloLens development in probably about 3.5 or 4 months, so it might have changed. But beforehand, I knew that it was a certain, you had to have Windows 10 Professional. You have to, I think you don't have to have a specific build of Unity anymore. The HoloLens development stuff is very straightforward. I highly recommend the Windows Holographic Academy if you haven't seen that. Now, the issue, though, goes back to, if you're working with Unity, you're pretty much only working with FBX and Collada as a format, and ideally FBX, which is a 3D file format for data by Autodesk. And the issue is that a lot of the medical imaging data is not generated in an FBX, right? So you have Diacom and RAR files, which come from your MRIs, your CAT scans, and that. And then it's hard to get that volumetric data segmented. So for example, say you have a scan of a chest cavity, and you want to use that in the HoloLens because you want to overlay that medical scan on someone's midsection using the depth camera, right? You would have to take that segment, you would have to take that volumetric, and then you would need to segment that out into the specific pieces, because say you have it where the user casts a ray that whenever they look over a certain object, that object would highlight, right? Maybe pop up additional information. Now to do that like that in Unity is insanely straightforward, right? Anyone that, depending upon your flavor of scripting languages, can write a simple script that could do that. But again, the challenge goes back to how do you get that data, it's all one big volume, segmented out? that expensive, or that software is very expensive. So not to labor on it for too long, but I have found that one of the biggest challenges with working with any industry's data, especially 3D data, is the pipelines from a real world industry into the game engine is usually not a smooth one, right? So that is what I have found to be some of the biggest challenges. Now, with that said, if you say, well, we're not really trying to show how we can go with EMRs or electronic medical records, but we're just trying to show a 3D model of a heart or something like that. Oh, well, then that's a whole different story. You don't need to go for that level of accuracy of actual patient data, but you're just trying to do something that visualizes, then yeah, I would definitely recommend, just grab your geometry in an FBX file format, and then everything else is pretty straightforward. And a really cool hack that I would like to see with the HoloLens is where someone essentially takes the depth mapping ability of the HoloLens and overlays, essentially an interactive skeleton on top of someone. Something that we tried to do, and I say we as the team, not that I have multiple personality disorder, but with the arm bone that I showed, what we tried to do was take that app a little bit further with computer vision. The idea being that if someone in the room right there fell down and essentially had a heart attack, essentially EMTs could come into the space. They had the proper permissions. They could access an application of your medical data, because that is a mandate now. And then when the camera recognizes your head, it would essentially then overlay it would use that for the computer vision recognition it needs to overlay your medical information on top of you, right? And then have that communicate to a physician somewhere else online. So that way the physician's looking at a 3D model of you just in the browser that he can click on and make annotations. But that's communicating real time to the augmented reality application that's being overlaid on top of you, that's showing the EMTs where they need to do the compressions or things like that. So so just some ideas for fun things that definitely you can do with a HoloLens that you couldn't do maybe back in 2008, 2009 with just a regular camera very well. So yeah, long-winded answer, but hopefully that'll give you an idea of some of the things. Any other questions?
So that's important connect early on. What I've seen in trend in modern APIs that are exposed by device manufacturers, and they seem very specialized to the specific consumer application that we're using. As an example, we've got say Vive, and they're just EVR plugin. That's essentially how EVR plugin. That's how you can use it. Same thing for the etc. And the Office as well. But when it comes down to being able to do stuff that aren't actually, the problem with that is that what we as developers are limited to, or that actually limits what we as developers can do, because there are only certain functions that are exposed to those APIs by those functions, which are either limitation to the game engine or limitation to the plugins. However, like I said, when I went to back in 2007, they basically get used to point cloud data, try to figure out where the hand is and all that. But I guess what I find difficult and missing is number of low-level or native APIs that actually allow us to access almost the device level the greater capabilities of the device, right? For example, connecting the heartbeats. Well, HoloLens basically has connect. So then there's a heartbeat sensor, right? That's to be able to pull that out and plug it into the other is not easy. So we basically have to build that ourselves. So what I'd like to know is what are your thoughts on how the industry perceives that as far as being able to provide capabilities and devices that should be more easily accessible through like the native devices.
So, you understand the question?
Yeah, so I caught most of that, but at the very end, so I'm going to ask if someone closer to the mic could just repeat that last part of the question, or
Yes. So the so you take the Hololens, for example. It has a heartbeat sensor built in, right? But you don't have access to it.
Right.
Yeah. So some of these devices have native capability, but there's no API to actually access those features. So developers have to build them. So the question is how do you think the industry perceive that? Is there something that is it lack of collaboration to the developers, or is there a reason why those things are not taken into consideration? Because the information is there, you should be able to have direct access to it versus building another interface to interact with that.
Right. Like if you use the Unity plugin if you're all, it's not going to get that. And then if you have, you have to go very low level APIs to gather that stuff. Basically, build it back up from scratch.
so if I understand this correctly, you're essentially asking about like what can be done as far as some of the hardware manufacturers allowing more access to the data that's being generated by the devices.
Right, in a way that's not. I feel like right now just they overshoot that. They overshoot the simplification. They build it for the computer. They build it for Unreal. They build it for whatever applications.
Yeah.
But then we need to get DevPost metal. We need to get more fine-grained control of devices. You have to go very, very close to the metal. And so there's this wide space between what you as a developer can use from device based on the APIs that you plug in versus what's actually available. So how and where is that gap being addressed? What is the perception of that?
So again, and it's just cutting in and out, so it's a little bit difficult. But if I understand you correctly, I'll take a stab at an answer. I find it yes. First of all, it is very frustrating when you want to access data by a device and you can't get the full range of it, right? I think for those that are familiar with Leap Motion, everyone in the room familiar with the Leap Motion device? Okay, cool. I saw a hand go up. All right. If you jumped in on that first wave of Leap Motion devices, I'm sure you were disappointed like the rest of us, right? As far as the amount of data that you could not access that the sensor generated, right? With that first initial release of their SDK. And that took a very cool device with a lot of promise. So for those that don't know, the Leap Motion essentially is a little device about like yay big. You would put it in front of your computer. The idea was your Minority Report style, I don't have to touch anything. Just wave your hands around, kind of like think of a Microsoft Connect, but for more fine gestures. And so, you could write and maybe you could do smaller things that the skeletal tracking of the Connect wouldn't pick up. And so there was a lot of excitement, right? There wasn't a tool like this out. And then when they released the product, developers got their hands on it. They freaked out. They got really excited. And then you saw the lack of actual data that you could get from that device to use in whatever you were trying to do. And it became a very expensive door stopper for a lot of people. And I think that what it was is that then the developer community, it took them. Okay, perfect. Yes. So see, it could be a very cool device or a very expensive door stopper. So and what was neat about what Leap listened to the issue, and they changed. their second SDK came out, it allowed for a lot more access. So, you know, in one way, I think that, you know, the hardware companies, I mean, hardware is hard, right? You're focusing on building something that's going to be robust, pushing your price point down, while other parts of the world are trying to clone what you're doing, and it's a race to the bottom. So I think that, you know, it's just they don't have, you know, their focus is that. And so as developers and people who are using their tools, give them that feedback, that's super important and super crucial. So so I think that, you know, what I would just say is, you know, if there's something that you'd like to see, if you're being limited by what you can or cannot access on a certain piece of hardware, just let them know. Just say, hey, I'd love to do this. And even if they don't open that up publicly, I have seen before where they may, you know, give you special access as a developer to certain things that they may not turn on, or NDAs or other, you know, IP protection. So that might be a way forward. But I will say this, is that I have found this to be frustrating, is, again, sometimes when you're dealing with things that are focused toward gaming, you know, gamers only need a fraction of what actually that device can or cannot do. So so yeah, so I would just say have good dialogue with the hardware manufacturers.
Awesome. Well, so thank you. We're going to transition into ideation stage in a bit now. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. I'll be reaching out back to you as we progress through the day through text message if you're available just for general questions. And thank you very much. I appreciate it. The team appreciate it. Thank you. You guys are like we have a good place to start off now. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. I'll reach out back to you.
Thank you, everyone. Have fun. Feel free to reach out via LinkedIn or Twitter or any of those things that you do, and have a lot of fun. Take care.
So I'll share information with them as well towards the end of the day. Thank you, sir.
All right. Cheers.
So, how do you guys think? That's helpful? Good? All right, cool. So, what I want to do is we want to get into like the team deal a little kind of in the group. Glad that people, as I expected so far, but I presume that people will join later on. So, I want to kind of do two groups right now. So, we kind of like, you know, start going through ideas to the stage. So, in order to do that, we need to know who's background a little bit, right? You know, so, like, I can go through the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you have a scale. So like you're 2 or closer to 10. Or C# or what? 1 is like I'm a beginner. 10 is like I'm 7 is like I'm experienced and I've challenged myself to get to 10. Or 10 is like I know a lot and I can probably get to 6. Okay. That's good. And you? 6 as well. Okay. And you? 5. 0. Yes, 6. Some of the other programs, JavaScript. 5. So what I want to know, kind of like, you know, so two shots, right, and kind of be the team around. That's what I do. I will separate one of you to be a team lead, and then I'll be a team around you, be a team around you.
Yeah, I want to have a team together.
Oh, you want to? Oh, okay. Yes, okay, so you might.
I think they're going to come in natural groups. So that, yeah, I think it's probably their team. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I will join your team. This is kind of even out. And then this thing. All right, so you join their team?
Yeah, that's exciting.
So you want to flow with 2 more things. You want to flow with 2 more things. You want to kind of dive into some of this.
So, before we get there, I want to ask about the ground rules for this, because there were some things that on the website, putting outside, wasn't very clear about hardware. Yeah, what are the boundaries?
The confine is that every product is open source. Everything that's created within 2 hours right here. And so how it goes.
So that's a right, sorry, I don't know.
It's what we have here. Let's have a different device. That's we actually talk to people great about it. But how do you measure that?
So I'd like to know that.
So I think we'll verify with Rick, CFO, and CTO, then we'll get back to him and we'll do that now.
Yeah, it's exactly why it's the.
So the idea is to create your own. Whatever you do, you should be able to demo it without how it is.
I saw that as an option. I saw Unity was required. I saw the requirements. Yeah, Unity and then the Hololens. So
Let me query the credit with you. Because that's what we have here, right? We have to have it in there.
Unique.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right. So we have a solid team here. We have a solid team here. So the idea is that let you guys go out there and there's a whiteboard session to come up with different ideas. So you know what this works technology is. You know what the devices are. You know what the devices are. So this is the opportunity for you to go out there, your experience from their business experience, from this experience, and come up with a business idea that you can build upon. It could be an idea you've been thinking about, but I did want to make sure that what we here is coming from. Again, it's open source, many libraries, many systems you can use something out there. So that's what I did this next 30 minutes or so. And so you have this whole entire space to do so. You have the whiteboard in there, you have post let me know the information you need for that. I'll give you the right.
What are we next door? One thing have whiteboard and.
Yeah. I can access to the subject matter.
To be floating. So just to also give you guys something, there was a submission online as well for like a field tracking or field identifying medication field identified. So submission online. So you can also go check out the DevPost site. So if you want to view the phone as well, that's available for you. Simply, just for you to we're gonna have conversations. So any process. Also in the community environment.
Yeah, well, let's see if this.
All right. So let's go. So I don't have no background in the healthcare space. I don't know what about. But I like to the LP on this profile. We get about 400 So that is a list of what are the challenges we've seen in the space of well, traditionally we've been focusing on now transitioning to like some video experience, but it looks like some of okay, so
What you got? That's the most important thing.
Time.
Time getting down. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do they have it stuck in their future? I mean, they're walking off. What else? What else when I'm talking to you? So what's your first thought when you want to do first lines?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you're like taking it back. Yeah. Now I know that's when it's off, but then it starts to when you can make you want to scare patients to death. And she wants to be looking, and I can see his eyes at first. Right, you couldn't see his eyes, so what does that make you do? Suspicious. Right, so what the whole thing is, so you first, exactly. So I've been working with so I'm just, I said, maybe these things are like this. I want to see the lights of God. That can really become true. We're clicking on something, but I want everything that's fingertip. Now, the bit of EHR, EHR, the data that they were talking about, and I love to but it's very little. All that information is there. All the data go on. The problem is it's got to be interfaced with not all doctors. Either they're by regulation or electronic or EMR. We're always looking to because they're not all interoperable. So you go to the doctor's office and you may or may not have access to the doctor. May or may not. So one of the issues is physicians are supposed to not right? They're supposed to do, there's all kinds of quality measures they have together. They see an assessment, smell, so I don't know how many thoughts I'm supposed to put out there, but I'm just put the rules. The doctor walks in, he starts to go like this. His last is mine. But the most important thing is keeping that interaction with the patient, and that everything's under control. Now, some of the things we thought about was perhaps to use this training, especially training in large training nurses and all physicians, because it's simulation. That's your finger. It's going to demonstrate. Go from VR to AR, and there's all kinds of so those are some thoughts. Absolutely. And then there's my once you evolve to the glasses,
Kind of catch up with that.
Sure. It's warm now, like whatever.
Oh.
It's pizza, so whatever.
Let me ask you a question.
well, one, I see right now, most physicians are look at because of their expensive. And right now, I've got to get my method. Some of my however, training patients, I mentioned this earlier. One of the ways we have to look at you have to sit there and they've been sitting there and have their training that they is really cool. Or they have to refer them somewhere else. Most physician offices go through all the answers. So how do we tell that helps?
I want to show you. See, it's already going to be most productive. students also see that's the way to overcome it. That's a challenge, right? But the way to overcome some of the challenge.
So, whoever has one, so I was one.
We got share the same. Because right now it's one view right now, right? But imagine we get to share. You can also the strategies you got to think about. That's the challenge of how you come up. So the reason I'm saying, if somebody brings an idea out, and I say, well, I see this problem this week, I have an alternative solution. But there's nothing that's not solved. If we can go to the root, see that thing, solve it. That's the whole idea about it. And so another thing trying to give insight is that when you think about the form right now is pretty big. You know, you look at office income, which is big, but then you find it's kind of scale down a little bit. And you think in the future we have Snapchats, we have stuff we have. We got some money for Snapchat. That's what we got. So it's like we're saying we use Snapchat. This real stuff, right? They're now going back to more. So when you think about it, right now, we have to develop on the how we do that. But think about it, in the next 2 years, hopefully, 2 years now, all will be more easy to see if we have it. So don't be like I'm saying, go as far as you can, all things considered, but also realize this thing is involved in very fast. So I usually not only when it comes to ideas, but that's what I like and see. And I'm just going to listen in and watch guys do this. That's what I do. But it's you guys, right? You're the innovators of today. Yes, yes. And then also there's lunch as well. You guys want to grab lunch while you speak, or you want to take time to have lunch. What's better? Let's go out. I would think that we have to get the coding stuff. We try to find an idea about 130. It's so right now. Oh yeah, we want to as long as it's 2 minutes, grab some that's the game says something. Yes.